my gosh, that is intense. Like where Indians live, intense. Wow. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. It's been a journey, and like he said, I auditioned here before, and then I didn't get it, and so I decided I was gonna come on for Life's Purpose, and I started thinking about Life's Purpose, and I was like, do I want to talk about this? Do I want to talk about that? Do I want to slip on confetti? Well, what's going to happen here? What am I going to talk about? And I started just getting really riled up, getting really excited, but I was like, I have much more than 12 minutes to talk about here. So I did what I've learned to do when I start getting crazy, and I sat down for a short meditation. And so tonight, I want to start by inviting you guys to share with me in a similar sort of meditation. And it's very short, but it helped me, and so maybe it'll help you to absorb all of this. So let's all just close our eyes for a minute. And relax your belly. No one's looking. You can look fat. And then take a deep breath all the way down into your stomach. And then as that breath fills up, go ahead and just let go of your chest. Let the breath come out. Don't force. Don't hold back. Very good. Now, imagine for a moment that you're surrounded by a deep blue light. You're free floating in space. You can move in any direction, but everywhere is this blue light. And you notice, as you start to move, there's a little glimmer off in the distance. I want you to go check out that shiny thing. And you come even closer, and you see a huge mass of swirling fish. Now go ahead and open your eyes. I'm going to tell you a little story. And this is a story that came to me in this meditation. This is a story about a fish. But it wasn't just any fish. This was a very significant fish. VSF was born at a very significant time, in a very significant place. And VSF's life was chock full of significance. So much so that all the other fishes kept VSF safe and sound at the heart of the school. Each fish would swirl around him in this perfect dance. They would all make their way out to center, or out to the edge, and then they would come back to center. And as each fish passed VSF, they would relate their own story. So VSF became very well informed about the world outside. And after a time of many cycles going forward and back, VSF started to wonder, what's my life's purpose? Why am I here? What's happening here? And he asked all these fish, and no fish could tell him what his purpose was. And so he thought about it, and he thought about it, and he dwelled on it. And then one day, in a very significant moment, VSF had the most brilliant idea ever in the history of fishes ever. VSF had discovered his ability to intend, to make a choice. And so he executed this maneuver flawlessly. He called out, "All fishes, go left!" And as they turned left, he suddenly went right and jumped out of the school, out into the middle of the ocean. The beauty of the world unfolded before him. It was magnificent. It was glorious. His purpose was being served. And it was in this perfect, beautiful moment that the hungry dolphin came along and swallowed him up. I love this story. One, because I made it up, but also because it perfectly illustrates what happens when one realizes their life's purpose. To engage and become an embodiment of your purpose is to be consumed. to be chewed up, spit out into a harsh and unforgiving world, never to know the true meaning your life's purpose served. Now, my wife doesn't like this story so much because she hates the sad part of nature shows. We watched this nature show about the owls. These are some they're so cute. And these owls were starving. And so Mama would go out and she would look for lemmings. And if she brought home a lemming, then the owls got to eat and they got to live. One owl didn't make it, and it was a sad part of a nature show. And my wife was very upset. And I said, well, honey, what about the lemmings? If we were watching a show about the lemmings and Mama came along and scooped up a lemming for one of her babies, now we have a bunch of baby lemmings that have no mama. So that's also a sad part of nature show. We're all consuming. We are all growing and becoming something greater than as a whole, as part of a system. And while it might seem violent and tragic, it's truly cooperative. We're actually living our life's purposes in conjunction with each other. We come to moments of creative tension that might seem bad depending on your perspective. But the truth is that we're all engaged in this grand game we call life, in this grand place we call universe, and in this grand state we call existence. Now, I'm going to throw some definitions at you, but don't get overwhelmed. It's okay. First, we're going to talk about the definition of life. And these are 5 of the most applicable definitions I could find, but there were several takeaways that I really liked about these definitions. First, that life has to do with growth, metabolism, reproduction, and adaptation. Second, that life is a finite state of existence. You live and then you die. And third, that because we made up the word, if we look at number 5, because we make up the word, we have somehow more of a right to life. We have more of a meaning in life. Something about being human is more within the definition of life than something about being a fish. Also, that life necessitates some sort of driving mechanism that we call the soul in number 4. And that life evolves. It changes. What life means is different depending on which strata of existence your current perspective is from. Now, we get into purpose, and purpose has 2 kind of competing definitions. The first 2 here has to do with intention, the reason something is there, the intended purpose. Usually, something's purpose will be served if someone behind it is doing the intending. A hammer will swing, a gun will fire. That intention creates the purpose. But then there's something that's a practical result, an effect, and advantage. That's an unintended consequence. That falls under this law of unintended consequence. Things that we have no control over with our intention that happen nonetheless, and when we look back, we say, that's why that happened. That's why I was stuck at that red light, because if it had been green, that car would have turned right into me and I would have gotten in an accident. So, purpose has to do with what we intend and what actually happens. The only thing that we can control is the first part. The only thing that we can control is our intention. What can I do right now to make this situation better? By mashing up these ideas, I came up with this definition for life's purpose. That life's purpose is to catalyze a radical change to all environments in the universe by growing, consuming, reproducing, and adapting. And also that life's purpose is to make abstract choices in a physical universe. And that is what is uniquely human. That is our ability as humans. We can reach out into nothing and pull back something real. We can make real our imaginative efforts, and that is phenomenal. And that is life's purpose as we grow, consume, reproduce, and adapt. When our time is done here on Earth, our intentional purpose, that trajectory is set. There is nothing else that we can do. Every choice that we made a tiny dent, culminating in a tiny push toward an undetermined future. And after we're gone, it's up to those who follow us to correct the course. So while we're here, we have to make choices every moment that lead toward our intended purpose, that make us feel alive and engaged, and like that dolphin's about to come and swallow us up. We have to jettison ourselves from our comfort zone of ignorance and become something great. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what choice you make. What matters is that you choose to do it. I could stand up here and talk to you all night, but we have 4 other amazing speakers. I want to thank you guys for being such an amazing audience. It warms my heart, and I just want to leave with one final note. In the immortal words of Douglas Adams, so long, and thanks for all the fish.